the books tell us that we need to be delegating that.
Right.
Get that off. Because if you can delegate that off to somebody.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Budo Brothers podcast. I am Kyle.
I'm Eric.
And we are ready to start off a great episode. Today we are talking about
maintaining your energy. How do we, when the going gets tough, make sure that we have enough gas in the tank to push us through those difficult times, whether it's in a fight, whether it's in life. That's what I want to talk about. So, Kyle, when you feel like you got nothing left in the tank and you're running on fumes, what is it that you do that keeps yourself going? How do you dig down deep?
Now, are we talking in work or workout or a sparring session or what are we? Where are we talking?
Your day. When you got nothing left in the tank, you're done work, but you still got a lot of things to do. How do you go to the bottom of the barrel and use whatever's left as fuel? And how do you get past those barriers?
I have to take a step outside of what I'm feeling in that moment and to remember why I'm doing the things I'm doing. One of the biggest areas where I find that I need to kind of kick it into that next gear was when I was working at the school and doing Budo Brothers.
You had a day job.
Yep. Which recently was changed.
Yeah, you're an alley cat now.
Oh yes, I'm hunting now.
You used to get your milk served in a bowl, and now you got to hunt for your food.
Heck yeah. But what I would find was you'd work the 8 hours, and then you'd come home, and all you would want to do is just go to bed. Turn off,
kick that
watch
relief
some
valve.
Netflix, whatever. And the only way that we've been able to get to this point is by kicking into that next gear. Mm-hmm. And it's the same in the gym. It's the same when you're in a sparring match. Finding the purpose of why you're doing it to get you to that next gear. If it's in the gym, it's for your health, for longevity, for bigger reasons other than just, maybe losing 5 pounds. But for the Budo Brothers situation, when I got home, I was like, I want to create a life that I get to travel, do martial arts, and share stories. We are big on sharing stories. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, I have to put in the work now in order to make it to that future version of myself.
Right.
I need to act as if I was the future version of myself right now. And connecting to that, time traveling and putting yourself forward, being like, I have to do these activities in order to get there. There's no other way. And once you become clear on that, you're like, all right, I got to shake off all the dust. I got to shake off whatever it is I'm in this funk and just work. Just
get after it.
Put in the work, put in the hours and just be meticulous at that. Mm-hmm. What about you? How do you power through?
I love that you said the why, because the why is a huge fuel source. If you can understand why it is you're doing something, even though it might be very painful, if you're like, I am doing this to create whatever it is you're trying to create, do whatever it is you're trying to do. As long as you've got that why, it makes the challenges. Because how easy is it to say that the heat is too hot?
Right.
I'm going to take a break. I'm going to, you know what? I deserve to binge watch 5 hours of some show on Netflix, right? That is the easy way out. And no question, we do need to do the things that recharge our batteries, but making sure that we're finding what actually gives our batteries a clean recharge. Because if it's just escapism and you're just, filling your mind with whatever the latest controversy is, that's not rejuvenation, man. You're not putting energy into the battery. Look at what's coming in, especially now. Worry, what's going to happen, and there's no shortage of sources that you could be choosing to open up. And that's what's going to go into your battery.
Right.
But if you take the time to meditate, to train, to work on an art, to paint, to create, to serve, to try something new, all of those have nothing to do with what's going on in the outside world. And I'm sorry, but what's going on in the outside world is insane. And so the only way that we can make sure that we have a clean fuel source is to make sure that we're filling our batteries up with things that are good, that are pure, that are of our own choice. We can choose what we fill our batteries with. We can choose that, you know what? I'm going to spend the next hour and I'm going to work out. I'm going to spend the next hour, I'm going to focus on my jab. You know, that's what I love about training and martial arts, is that you can set it so that the world turns off for the next 90 minutes. Yeah. The next 90 minutes, I cannot be reached. The next 90 minutes are for me. And man, when you do that and you converge on the moment and you get into that zone where you start sweating and your endorphins are pumping and you're feeling good, and all of a sudden you feel alive and you're tapping into that source of energy that is the warrior energy, man, your tank gets expanded. You have a lot more to go in the tank when you can tap into that.
Right. I heard a great metaphor for energy and how it works. Practices like qigong and tai chi, and then you have your physical practices like weightlifting or martial arts. All act as ways to rejuvenate you, add energy back into your system.
Nice.
But a cool metaphor that I heard was like, your energy is similar to a candle. You have the wax and the wick going up, and that's like your physical body. In order to produce energy, you have to hit your physical activities, like watching your nutrition, watching your health, watching your lifestyle choices, just fueling the vehicle that's carrying you through your day to day, and making sure that's in check and doing the work to rejuvenate it, get sleep, do all those important things.
Yeah.
The next is the wick and the light. And that's kind of like your education, your mind, just fueling your body with the right things, not listening to like poison on the internet and bad feeds and getting lost in scrolls and
arguing with complete strangers about politics.
And instead, empowering your mind with great podcasts, learning, like refueling your mind. And then the last bit is the energy it emanates. So in a dark room, the candle will fill it with light. And that's kind of like the spirit. So if you do the physical work and the mental work, like your meditative practice, your learning and stuff, it allows you to emanate this energy, illuminate.
That's cool. Yeah. So on that point, the candle needs a spark.
Yes.
It needs ignition. So I find I was actually, while you were thinking, I'm like, oh man, we all have to find that spark. What is that spark that makes you want to go and emanate that positive vibe, whatever that is? And it's going to be different for everyone.
Yes.
I mean, you can find any path, but whatever it is that ignites that flame, if you've got that foundation, you're right, it will light up the room.
And the cool thing about lighting up the room is that if you view that as your interactions with people, you can actually help to bring up others and rejuvenate others around you by giving off the right type of energy. And that's why motivational speakers and coaches, and why people do so well in teams, and why there's personal trainers, and why there's life coaches. Like, having the person with the right type of energy can allow you to recharge, rejuice, and
tap into what's in, sometimes I find that when you go and you listen to a really powerful motivational speaker, it does awaken something inside you. But what I also find is that, you're jacked up, but then guess what? Tomorrow comes and it was just another cool seminar.
But back to that candle, I think the candle analogy, it's that spark that lights it, right? But if you didn't do the work of like making sure you're healthy and doing the meditation mindset practices, like that spark's not going to do anything on a wispy old candle.
Right. Yeah.
You need to have done the work in order for that spark to ignite it.
To be fuel.
Yes.
Because wax is fuel.
Yeah.
That is the wax. When you light a candle, the wick, holds the flame, but the flame is burning the wax. The wax is actually fuel. It's a hydrocarbon.
Right.
And this is like the old school OG, like how we used to light our homes.
Yeah.
Was wax candle. It's paraffin. Paraffin. It's a hydrocarbon that is fuel for the flame. Right. You know. So what is our own hydrocarbon? What is it that once it's once the spark is there, what fuel do we have to keep that flame going? And I find that like when you can tap into that, when you can figure out what the fuel is, once the spark is lit, that flame will burn as long as you've got wax.
And it's just so true. And if you look at like activities you get lost in, like when we're crushing the creative stuff of Budo Brothers, we could do that for hours on end, not even feel it at all, just feel always in the zone.
Yeah.
Put taxes in front of us.
Like, finances.
Get finances? Oh my gosh.
It's pulling
like,
teeth. Time slows down.
30 seconds is an hour.
Oh man.
30 seconds is an hour.
And the justification.
And it drains you of like energy because you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's hard.
Yeah. And for us, it's not fun. Like I'm sure to an accountant or like a CFO, it's amazing. And
all of the best business books always tell you to delegate that which you loathe. You know, if you and I suck at numbers, we suck at like CFO style financial planning.
Yeah.
So we should, the books tell us that we need to be delegating that.
Right.
You know, get that off. Because if you can delegate that off to somebody whose wick is fueled by numbers because they love it. They love solving people's financial challenges because they have the wisdom and the knowledge. They went to school for the shit. They've been bean counting and they know how, and they can see shit that we can't. They can see like, listen, you guys, how could you not see this? I don't know. We never got educated. Well, guess what? And that gets them excited.
Yeah, because that's how they can help people.
Yes, exactly.
That's how they produce value.
So that's what we need to do. We need to go find somebody that numbers gets them excited because it doesn't. Like we get excited about creating and doing what we love doing with Budo Brothers, sharing stories, creating cool products, helping the less fortunate, helping kids get started in martial arts, helping everyday people tap into their true potential by trying and getting exposed to martial arts.
And that's the spark. The other thing though with refueling and keeping energy, you got to watch out for vampires. Vampires is an epidemic. People that suck your life energy.
Yeah.
If you are like, you have to do so much extra work. If you go and you're in an environment every day and that environment is just a drain, it doesn't pick you up. There's negativity. There's people talking about each other behind the back, or it's cutthroat. Like, that's wearing day in, day out. And so you actually either have to do more energy practice, more watching your nutrition, fueling your mind, or you have to change your environment too.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can't help it. You can't help who you stuck around or you put in the environment, but it's a drain, man. Like it can make a day so long if you were stuck in a room with somebody who's just sucking the energy out of you.
Totally. And that's what I love about resonance. Resonance will remove you from where you should not be and bring you into where you're supposed to be. You know, because like you're describing that, you know, it's energy vampires, people that are sucking your energy. If you can observe that that's what's happening, that is a good sign. That means you're aware that this is not where I need to be, because if it was, you would be thriving on it. You would be like, yeah, I love talking shit about people. And yeah, I love gossip. And this is, but if it doesn't, and if it does, you're like, what's happening? That's beautiful, because that's telling you need to get out of wherever the hell you are and go towards wherever that takes you. Resonance will shake you out of where you're not supposed to be and put you in where you are supposed to be.
And I think when you find that place where you are supposed to be, you're going with the current. Until that point, you're always going against the current. You're always fighting it. You're swimming upstream. And like, it's all about this. Life is about conserving energy, or like not conserving energy, being the most efficient with your energy.
And being the source of energy.
Yeah. Because everybody gets the same amount of hours in a day.
Truth.
And some people just do more with them than others.
And the ones that do, they're on purpose.
Yeah.
They're connected where their gifts, passion, and purpose all align. And that's the sweet spot where you wake up and work is not work. And that is our job. That is our job as individuals, is to find that. Because that's where we are at our ultimate potential. And that's where we can do the most good. And that is where we can make the most impact on this planet to leave it in a better condition than when we arrived. And I'm sorry, but I really feel like that is our purpose in life.
Yeah. Another thing too that sucks energy is not being present. When you are in your head telling yourself story after story after story, or what if, or oh my God, if this person thinks this, like running fake scenarios and just contemplating things, that's draining. Versus the person who can kind of quiet their mind and be in the moment and make decisions about what's in front of them, requires less energy.
Yeah.
It allows you to store your energy in your days more. It allows less stress to come in, or dealing with so many different scenarios and situations and stipulations you set for yourself.
Right.
Versus just living and doing what you can with what you've got. It's a different game.
So how do we put a Budo Brothers challenge around this? Ooh, I've got one. You know how we're always saying, do this. I got one. Here we go. When you feel like what we just described, where it's like, that resonance is repulsive, like you need to get out of here. Yeah. The Budo Brothers challenge is to extract yourself out of situations where resonance makes it completely repulsive. Listen to it. Listen to it, because it is a signal that it's not where you're supposed to be. Yeah. So actively take action to remove yourself from whatever group, situation, scenario that is, because sometimes the things that we say no to are more important than the things that we say yes to.
Kind of just got like this really cool picture in my mind. You know those old school radios with the tuners on it?
Yeah, yeah.
And when you start off, it sounds like
scrambled signal.
But then all of a sudden you find the right frequency.
And it's locked in.
And then you get the music, man.
And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it locks in, and then you got it.
You're tuned right in.
Tuned in.
All right. So that's another challenge. 2 Budo Brothers challenges. Remove yourself from caustic situations and tune in to that beautiful symphony of life.
I love that. All right, guys.
That's a wrap.
Okay, that's a wrap.
How can we top that?
Shorter episode today, but I think
that was potent.
That's where we're at.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, listen, I hope everyone has an incredible week, despite the chaos, despite all of the crazy things that are going on right now. Let's just take a moment and look around and be thankful that we can breathe air, we're functioning, we're healthy, we have our family, we have our friends, we have our practice, and our heart is pumping, and that is a gift.
And don't forget, like, subscribe, follow us on all of the things internet, search up Budo Brothers, hear what we're doing, here are the stories we're sharing, sign up for the free vault.
Yes, join up our email list. We're going to be giving out a lot of promo codes, a lot of exclusive promotions, so can't get it unless you're on the email list. All right, just saying.
Till next week.
All right, we'll catch everyone next week.